All right, everyone. So we have another potential Chris Jericho return tease. Okay. So this is from eWrestling News. Chris Jericho's latest WWE return tease. Chris Jericho is leaving no stone unturned to hint at his possible WWE return ahead of his AEW contract expiration. Moreover, the former WWE World Champion's contract with Tony Khan's promotion is set to expire by the end of this year. Taking to his Instagram stories, Jericho shared a collage of John Cena's first and final WWE appearance in Boston. For those unaware, back in 2002, during his first Boston appearance, a young Cena wrestled Chris Jericho in a singles contest. 23 years later, Cena made his last ever hometown in ring appearance against a young Dominic Mysterio. There was enough to add fuel to the rumors that claim Y2J and the Cena Nation leader will face each other in the latter's final bout in December 2025. You could check out the post below. So this is the post. It's just a picture of him shaking hands with Jericho, Cena and Jericho, and then Cena and Dominic Mysterio. The two different pictures. Look, I don't know if this is, this could be nothing. Very easily, could be nothing. I get it. But I do think WWE, they keep hinting at something big here, right? I mean, we did see the little hint with Edge, but I don't think that's actually something that's going to happen. I think they're going to maybe find a way to make this happen. I really hope. And I don't know if it's going to even be part of the Cena farewell tour, right? I really don't know because bottom line is we're kind of running out of time here, right? We only have what, two appearances left for Cena. So I don't know if it's going to be something that is during his farewell tour, but could there be something past that where Jericho returns? I think that's very very likely. And I do think WWE, you know, and I don't know if they fully know this. I haven't listened to anyone that has sources in there or in WWE or anything like that, but I wonder what they're thinking, after John Cena's farewell tour is over, because this has been kind of the guiding storyline through this whole year, right? This is the one thing that they could just hang their hat on and say people are going to care about this. And knowing that Cena is going to be out, right? He's going to be done. He's going to be fully retired. They're going to have to, you have your Cody Rhodes, you have your um, Roman Reigns, you have the big stars in the company, but Cena was on another level. There's no question about it, right? And he has been for quite some time. Cody Rhodes is huge, right? And he has that Cena like quality to him where he could potentially have a retirement tour one day, just like this. But it's still going to leave a major hole in WWE. And like I said, right now, Cena's making this pretty darn easy for him. They've messed up a million and one ways throughout this whole retirement tour, and Cena has been able to kind of still make this thing great. I mean, he's been able to do it even with some of the huge swings and misses, right? The heel turn, not because the heel turn wasn't good. I love the heel turn, actually. And I always say that every time I bring it up because I don't want people to think I didn't like it. I like the heel turn, didn't like the execution, right? Didn't like how you had a heel turn with your big star, right? The guy that's on his retirement tour, and the two people you put in there with him aren't going to be on WWE TV anytime soon. Travis Scott, nowhere to be. I mean, he came back one or two other times, and then he was done. That was it. And The Rock, he's not around, so that's not great. You have a great return with Brock Lesnar, right? You have this moment you could build off it, and they just don't deliver a really good match. And it was 100% on what they were going for, which was the kind of basically squash match of Lesnar just dominating Cena. Didn't need to happen that way. That's how it happened. And I don't think people were happy with it. But Cena still has kept people involved, excited. And then you saw the AJ Styles match. He's just delivering time and time again. So this is something that WWE is going to have to deal with after he's gone, right? Is you are going to lose a huge, huge part of WWE. This is someone that has been a staple of WWE, even when he's not full time or always there. He's been a staple of WWE for over 2 decades, right? I don't even know when his debut is. I'm gonna guess 2002. So we're in 2025. This is over 2 decades of Cena being involved, and now you're gonna lose that. And so having returns like Chris Jericho, having big moments can help them get off on the right foot because they're going to have to do just a little bit better, I think, right, than they've done this year. And I've been very happy with a lot of what Triple H has done. There's been injuries that have kind of screwed up some storylines and stuff like that, and you can't blame him for that. But it feels like we're starting to run a little bit out of steam here. We're starting to feel like we have a lot of the big moments, right? These splash moments, but not a lot of like the everyday moments, and that's really what we need. I love the splash moments, right? You need those, they get people excited, but it just doesn't feel like the every Raw and every SmackDown. We're getting those really well built stories that lead to really good storylines on the PLEs. It feels like we kind of get, you know, AJ Lee return, and you have a pretty good match, but what has really been done even with that since then? It's just there isn't things that build and build and build. That's kind of, I think, where I'm getting a little nervous, okay? Because I don't want the kind of role they were on, especially, last year, to come to an end, right? We want us to continue to see really, really good stuff. And I think Chris Jericho could be a part of that just because he can have, if you're losing one star and you bring in someone like Chris Jericho, he can give you a very, very, just like with AJ Lee, just like with a lot of these returns we've seen, that would get people hyped. That buys you a month of really good storyline that you could start building. I have no clue if they're going to do it. I don't know if this means that, but I have noticed that these hints do matter. If this was 2 years ago, I'd say, probably nothing. But I feel like WWE has utilized this stuff in the past, and so maybe we'll see, right? Maybe we'll see. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next.